Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, sir.
Yes, beta. Yeah. I want to share the same slide. Just can you see the slide?
No, sir.
You can't see the slide.
No, sir. Now we can see.
Now you can see.
No, sir. It is not clear yet.
Yes, now. Can you see it?
Sir, if it is possible, bold it.
I should. Yes, can
Okay,
you
sir.
see? Can you see it now?
Okay, sir. Say.
Yes. This is uh, I want to show it from yes. We have been doing Federico Garcia Lorca, Spanish poet, playwright, painter, and pianist. You can see the first slide. Yes. Wherever you feel that you have got any question, just you raise your question. I come to you because this session will be open to you uh, and open for the question, and you may ask any question. Now you can see the introduction of the writer, the Spanish playwright, painter, and yes, he was born in Spain, Granada, a small town. So he got education from Granada University. Basically, he was unlucky in the sense that during his Spanish War, he was arrested and then he was killed. So this is a little bit about his biography. His writing, you can see the poetry collection. He was a great poet, and he was famous because of his poetry, gypsy ballads, and lament for a bullfighter, collection of poems. And then he is famous because of his plays too, the tragedies, bloodletting, Yerma, and House of Benadra Alba. And basically, we are learning his play that is 5 years past. His writing. You can look at the themes of his writing. His work include poetry, drama, and prose, love, lust, sterility, and aesthetics. As we know that women is facing lots of problems, and men too, when there is a concept of sterility, when you are not able to bring children in the world, whether you are male or female, you are the unluckiest person in the world. And this is in your culture and traditions, you can say that. Many symbols are used by the writer in his writing, metaphors, symbol, moon, the horse, the blood, metal, etc. His poetry is about France, of Spain, its culture, folklore. He depicts tragedy of life in his writing. Farces, comedies, tragedies are important. Farces basically when you make fun of certain things and you laugh. This is an element of comedy. He has used metaphors in his work. This is very important. Okay, we come to play this 5 years because I explain it to you, the story and the themes, but we have the overlook and just from the beginning. when 5 years pass, basically this is play, surrealism and Andalusian tradition, because he belongs to Spain, and surrealism, as I told you, there is a vision, imagination, fantasy, supernatural element when these things are combined in reality, and this is, you can say that image versus real, so vision versus real. So when all these things combine together, so this is you see that the study of all these things is called surrealism. Andalusian tradition, in the sense that Andalusia basically belongs to Spain, and Arab tradition, basically folklore. So he focuses on Arab tradition, uh, as we know that in 5 years, because as we know that there is lot of concept of fairies, ghost and supernatural elements in Arab literature also, Arab tradition also. A movement in art and literature developed between World War I and II. Now he is talking about surrealism, amalgam, combination of conscious and unconscious, combination of fantasy and reality. As when you learn about consciousness and unconsciousness, you may read this in Freud's philosophy. That is, Freud is talking about consciousness and unconscious. There is combination of consciousness in psychoanalysis theory. So, what is purpose of this? The writer, they are trying to say that absolute reality can be achieved when there is a harmony between conscious and unconsciousness. So absolute reality. This is not possible. Absolute reality cannot be achieved, because absolute reality means absolute happiness. When you achieve absolute reality, you can achieve absolute happiness. So it is not possible. But they say that because Freud emphasizes, stresses on unconsciousness, because he is saying that consciousness is the only tip of the iceberg, and unconsciousness is iceberg itself. So he's saying that there should be signals. There are certain signals from unconsciousness, and we have to realize these signals in consciousness. So 5 years past tells a tale about a young man trying to grasp what is ahead of him, while lost in what is behind. As you know that the young man is, this play is about young man. So he is losing everything, and he looking forward to the future. It is called impossible comedy. Things are impossible. Things are there. It's not possible. The cat can speak, or dummy can speak, and dummy becomes a human being. Uh, it's not possible. These 3 acts in 5 scenes. There is a story of young man encountering the pain of love, and he broods. He thinks. He thinks about his future. Past and future coexist in present. To some extent, there is element of homosexual awakening, reckoning, and torture, mental torture, psychological torture. You can say that. So this is just to have a glimpse of this before this lecture. Just prologue. Dramatist introduces the production and implores the audience to use their imagination. As we know that there is no traditional story in the play, but with the help of imagination, the readers, the audience can understand what is happening, what is going on. But this is totally philosophical. As you know that surrealism or surrealist element is used. A young man's marriage with fiancée, with only met once, has been delayed for 5 years. Now he has met once. Uh, his fiancée is 15 years old. In the interim, they 3 spectators haunt: an old man who sees all time, a drunk man who only sees the present, and friend who wants to stop time. Basically, the scenes, the major scenes of this play is in library. You see that in first act is in the house. The young man's typist interrupts these spirits to confess her love for him and subsequently turn out of the house. Now you can say that this is a typist working in the office. The young man's servant Joanne warns the young man of gathering storm and two other disquieting figures break into his home from another dimension, a dead boy and a dead cat. Basically, these are the supernatural elements, and there is a lot of importance in this play about the supernatural element. As the second act, after his teamy love scene between the football player and the fiancée, the young man finally arrives 5 years later to meet his bride. So he's hopeful that he will have his bride, but his fiancée has got her own expectation, got her own dreams, and she loves football player, and she goes with him. Their reunion is cold and bitter, and she eventually escaped with the footballer, leaving the young man alone. So enough, and mannequin wearing the bride's unworn wedding gown comes to life. Now this is dummy. You can see mannequin outside many shops or shopping centers. It's a dummy type, and it puts on various dresses and clothes to life and demands to seek the love of the typist, but he turned away years ago. You can see. So you can see these are the characters. Act 1, Act 2, and third act. Yes, please ask me question if you have any question. Yes, you can ask. I am here to answer your question. From where we should start? I don't know, from first slide to the last slide. Yes. Our today's lecture. Yes, please. There are many people over there. Please ask me question. We are running short of time. Yes. Yes, Javeria Reis.
Sir, conversation between young man and friend trigger homosexual feeling. Sir, ये थोड़ा समझ में नहीं आया, ये थोड़ा कर दें.
Actually, yes, fashion. Yes. Actually, they there are certain strange and odd elements in the play. Something you can't discuss in society, something that is not in your culture, not in your tradition. As there is a conversation between a young man and friend, his friend wants to kiss him, so he avoids it, and he does not want to be close with him, but his friend wants to hug him. So he is always basically young man thinks about his fiancée. So he does not want to have close relation with the friend. To some extent, this is awkward, you can say. This is weird, you can say that. To some extent, there is a weird thing happening. So it is we can say that there is this element too in this play beside the odd and strange other elements. Yes. Yes, I want to share these slides with you, and I want to share link with you from where you can read the play, and then you come to know, and you will have better understanding. I can say that you will have better understanding than me whenever you read the play. Yes, Javeria Reis, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Ji beta, yes.
Sir, actually, I have a question on that slide, the imagination versus reality.